harsh forest in the world of Air. The Darkenfold, the world of Air suffered this grievious 1,000-year rule by the dark god Unklar. Pretty much everything was locked in a world of winter and ice, except for the Darkenfold. The Darkenfold became this, because the forest itself has a certain magical quality about it, a certain power that the gods have kept, God Tethnet has given it. It managed to kind of resist the power of Unklar. So for 1,000 years, all of those creatures and humans and dwarves and whatever who were fleeing the power of the Horned God frequently would come to the Darkenfold. There they would hide. There they would build dungeons and castles and bury their treasures and wealth. So we're 90 years past Unklar having been overthrown, cast out, the Winter Dark is over, and the Darkenfold has become this hotbed for people like yourselves to go in, weapons out, spells ready, plundering dungeons, castles, looting whatever you can, because there's so much wealth buried somewhere in the Darkenfold. The trade-off is, all of those creatures, of course, that went to the Darkenfold, many are still in the Darkenfold, where their spirits are, or whatever it is, so it's an extraordinarily dangerous, high mortality rate amongst adventurers region to seek your plunder and wealth. You guys have found yourself at a place called Bent's Trading Post. Bent's Trading Post is unusual in the Darkenfold. It was founded by these two brothers. One is a wizard, one is a fighter. They had adventured for many, many years, retired, built this little post on a river called the Powder River. Now the Bent's Trading Post is unusual because you can carry your weapons, you can have your spells, whatever you want, but there's a list of things you cannot do. You can't molest other guests, you can't steal, rob, argue, fight. Any of that stuff is an instant death sentence. So there's no courts. One of the two, Carl, the other brother, is going to kill you. So people who come here, even if you're like enemies fighting in the Darkenfold, you'll come to Bent's knowing that there's some kind of truce. No one's going to. People will negotiate, bargain, replace some wounds or what have you. So you've come to Bent's Trading Post, and you've been here for a couple of days. Now, however you guys want to break your groups up, it's fine. You can be individuals, or you guys can be part of an adventuring group, however, kind of play that out as the game unfolds. But you're at Bent's Trading Post for a couple of days, regrouping, whatever, and a couple of you get into a fight. It's nothing serious. It's nothing particular that's going to get you, kill each other's characters. We'll say, you two right here, been kind of arguing. You know it's a death sentence, so you're going to carry this fist fight across the Powder River. And there's a couple of boats out there, fishermen use them and come and go. You guys are packed up to go over to have a good fist fight, settle whatever disagreement that you've had. And the rest of you have decided, well, we're kind of bored. Let's pack up and go watch this fight. So across the river you guys go. A couple of hours of beating each other around the head ends in, hugs and a couple of beers, drinking, and you guys are all over there on the other side of the river when the rains begin. Now, what happens in the Darkenfold is the epicenter of what's called the Anvil Wind. I don't have my map. It's in the hall. It's supposed to be right here, but it's not. But at any rate, so the Darkenfold is like here, and there's an ocean here, mountain chain here, and the Anvil Wind picks up huge amounts of moisture, comes around, hits the mountains, cools, drops, and the Darkenfold is just one gigantic wet land of just raining constantly in the spring and deep into the summer. So when it rains, you all know you're probably kind of in trouble because you can't get across the river. There's not enough boats. It starts to flood quickly. You pull yourselves up and off the banks of the river just to kind of, to continue enjoying your evening. It continues to rain. The bottomlands begin to flood somewhat, and you find yourselves a little bit throughout the afternoon and into the evening, a little bit in trouble. You keep having to retreat further into the forest as the bottomlands around where you are begin to flood and become just soggy and wet. By evening, by middle of the night, you guys are a good 2 or 3 miles away from the river, up on a butte. It's covered in trees and whatnot. Any of you guys who are not rangers or druids are already getting a little bit turned around. The other thing about the Darkenfold, the reason it's called the Darkenfold, is the trees themselves being living entities, being sentient entities, like I mentioned earlier, tends to absorb light. So you pull a blade out, and it's a magical blade, casting whatever ring of light that a blade will do, or a torch. The trees around it kind of absorb that light, so it dampens anything. So those of you who can't see in the dark, or have rangers sense detection, direction sense, you guys are already getting a little bit turned around as you retreat off. By morning, still raining, pretty heavy, and there's really nowhere to go. You've got whatever equipment and gear that you have on you. The only way to go is to continue going into the forest, which is what you do. couple of days later, you're still kind of wandering in the forest, and now you kind of realize that you're rather hopelessly lost in the woods. Even the rangers,
Sounds familiar.
even the knight who's been doing this for many years, he still can't get out of the woods. This is his like third game, fourth game. Yeah, in the same kind of arena.
In the same spot,
I think he was on the boat that you guys were on last
You're trying to get
Oh, that boat.
Yeah.
I heard about a mystical monk that just waited it out the entire time.
All right, so 3 days out from Ben's trading post and away from the Powder River. It's early morning, so we'll get a quick couple of questions. You guys have been in the woods for a couple of days. Are you going to keep any kind of watch?
Like
Okay, so just give me a quick idea of what you guys want to do on watch.
My human would want to use something that dark vision or something.
Set a fire.
Just get a fire going.
How many people have dark vision?
Chase that wetness away.
What's this?
Fight, maybe I'll try out.
Okay, so quick question. Let's say 6 watches. Will that work? 6 watches. 2 people on a watch. All right. So just make sure someone assigned dark. Go ahead, Brett. Take over. And assign a human and someone with dark vision on 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm gonna go sleep.
I'm not doing body anyone with dark vision.
I have low light.
First watch.
I have twilight.
We'll do
Yeah,
Let's do this.
twilight.
First
I'm
watch.
twilight.
Second watch.
So.
Third watch. Do you have dark vision?
I have twilight.
Twilight. That's good enough. So fourth watch.
Twilight.
We have a dark vision and non-dark vision here, so we can take one of the watches.
Fifth watch.
We got 6 over here, us two.
Twilight.
6 watch. That's good. So just remember whatever watch you're on.
Absolutely.
So
First watch
Let
request.
me guess. You're gonna
6
pull
watch.
up
6 watch.
speed.
It's early, and I assume that you guys are. I mean, if one of you wants to take over some kind of military command, that's great. You got to let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to assume you have 3 or 4 fires going, and people are bedding down wherever you can find a dry spot to bed down, kind of sprawl out in the woods under a tree or what have you. If your character wants to move away from the party at any point, just shout and let me know that you've moved away from the party. So.
Don't split the party.
It always happens. Come on, we can have like 5 adventures here, all in one session.
Like your firewood, making dinner, taking it easy. Fucking hot walking around and full
Except he's playing
Stay in
the
your
dragon.
Yep.
The barbarian.
I'm losing weight fast.
At the fireside, praying until I can fall asleep, and in which case I will fall asleep.
All right, sleeping next to the fire.
Yes. Safe.
All right.
Polishing my helmet in square patterns the whole time, very meticulous.
Okay. Now, do you have any other armor on? Is it just this
Oh,
helmet?
it's full plate. But the helmet is
It's a lot of
prize.
drowning in the future.
A lot of drowning.
I'm looking after when I'm on watch, my armor will be on. I have plate armor. So when I'm resting, I'll take it off. I'm polishing it.
Somebody's gonna get a lot of pots and pans.
A lot of water, a lot of plate mail.
I too am wearing plate.
Let's hold the side of that. What do you do? Clean and what you doing at night? Sleeping.
When I'm not on watch, I'm trying to keep my stuff as dry as I can possibly get.
Okay.
I keep passing as much liquid as I can.
Okay. I keep drinking. There you go. Are there any dwarves in the party? One dwarf.
Watching.
When you're sleeping at night, you sleep next to the fire, you get your
Fire.
Okay, so you sleep close to the fire. No, look what I'm looking for specifically. Are you getting a tree or next one?
Up in a tree.
Okay, you're up in
That's what I
a
was
tree.
gonna say.
So are you going to, when you get in this tree, there's trees everywhere.
Yeah.
Now the trees are actually mostly oak, mostly old growth. They have thick boles, but they're short canopies. The canopies reach the ground, but they're not real high. So it's not like 180 feet.
Right.
So the trees are all kind of stunted and old.
So I'm looking for branches that are close together so I can maybe, kind of have somewhat of a platform or something.
Are you going to be near the group, or are you going to kind of get out a couple hundred yards?
No, not that far. I might be able to. No, I'm pretty close, but maybe 20 yards.
I'm gonna kind of pace around the camp because
When you're sleeping, though, how are you going to bed down next to a fire? Are you going to get away from it, or?
you're a fire.
Okay. And you?
I'll be alone in the woods.
All right. Here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna assume this is one, where there are 2 fires here.
I'm kind of nestling underneath the tree for cover from potential rain. Near-ish fire and contemplating noble deeds.
Not too close to the foundation before, but if you down, get closer. So,
Kind of stay out. Even when you're bedded down, you kind of bed it down away from the fire. About 10 feet, 15 feet, something like that. So you're going to go out, all out, build a tent, the whole thing. That's it. 2, how many? It rains a lot.
I'm small. I'm a half.
Okay, so it'll be just you, all right?
takes long to reach it.
I am like crying, doing because when I was doing this, sleeping near.
Near the fire. So we're at about 4 fires now over here. What do you?
In a hammock, in a tree, close to a fire.
Okay, all right. So now, in order to get that going, okay, so we'll assume you're going to build your own fire because a hammock requires 2 trees, and these guys are already kind of spread out a little bit, so you're kind of sitting up a little bit, not far out, but a little bit. Kind of getting your own fire going near your hammock. Are you going to be near him or? You up?
Near these guys.
Sharpening my axe, leaning against the tree.
Near the fire, kind of hanging out. Okay.
Sleeping big on the floor near the fire, and every morning I cast endure element.
Oh, there you go.
There's 2 spells that drive me crazy. That's one of them. That's great. No, that's great.
What's the other one?
Summon monster. Absolutely. I got the guy in the game summoning monster every single time. I've got weird gorillas and bears and hydras and it's absolutely. Oh, it's crazy. They're fighting giants and a gorilla shows up, or giant ants or whatever. And it's driving me nuts. But
I'm gonna sleep near the fire, in between 2 large fires.
oh gosh, you're kind of in the middle of
Well,
it.
wizard.
You snuggle up close.
Yeah.
I'll be sleeping near a tree,
Okay, away from the fires or kind of
near a fire.
all right.
I'll be outside the hammock stand on a stump next to the fire, polishing my shield. Thinking about my
So you're
noble
guarding the
deeds.
half.
Yeah, these are my noble deeds.
There you go. So essentially, you're the only one outside of the kind of the perimeter of this very large encampment. It's not really got any organization to it, I'd assume. And people are building fires and kind of popping down over there. But you're a little bit 20 yards out, give or take something. Okay, so 6th watch. You guys, it's the morning of the 4th day that you all have been out. You've been up for 3 hours or whatever it is on the watch. It's really, really foggy. Nothing's particularly going on. You haven't heard anything. Nothing's kind of upset you. But when you're standing there kind of on the butte doing, I assume you're doing like walking around, what have you. Both of you kind of, actually you spy off the fog breaks a little bit, and you can see maybe a quarter of a mile off, can't really tell which direction, probably east, probably west, you see what looks to be some kind of creek, a larger creek than anything you've seen since you left the powder room. But you know it's time to start waking people up. What do you do?
Hey, there's a big creek over there.
Right now everybody's asleep, so you say that to her. So,
And the other guy,
I can say to everybody, awake there, friends! There are noble deeds to be done along yon wandering water.
yes, noble deeds.
Some of us are trying to sleep.
Anybody nobly made the coffee?
I have had mine already, you're late.
So that shouting clearly starts waking you guys up. You're already a little wet and miserable and tired and sleeping on the cold ground anyway. And I assume that you guys aren't sleeping in your mail. If you are, just let you know.
No, it takes an hour to put that shit.
It's the morning ritual.
All right, so everybody starts waking up. What do you do? Getting up, what do you do in the morning? And you know, he's already said, no, you said something about the river? Did you say something about the creek?
I was talking about the yon wandering water, yes. That was
Okay, yeah, in some archaic knightly language.
Bathroom, fresh apple, full plate.
So you start
Today.
Alright.
Takes about an hour to get ready.
Prayers in order.
Alright, calling on the gods.
I also pray, make sure that my brother and I and him and you and you and you are protecting the elements.
Casting a spell? Okay. Alright.
You will be protected for me!
How's that impact around me?
Obviously.
So So this side is full of be heavily armored and
You are soon going to be.
I considered a win already.
This is our front line. You got 4 or 5 guys with shields and full blade.
Oh, I'm getting up, but I'm specifically doing that exercise.
Putting on that armor and just being amazed at how like elements are affecting me.
You have no idea, and he's blessed you with whatever.
San Francisco and something.
You know, there's a spell in the Adventurer's Backpack called Instant Coffee, so you can actually cast that spell and you've got the coffee.
Cantrip?
I think it's I can't remember. It might be. I don't know. All right. So what are you guys doing when you get up in the morning? And what do you do?
I'm gonna wring out my hat. Gonna put it back on and make sure my book isn't soiled.
All right, cleaning yourself up.
I want to see if there's been any disturbances overnight.
All right. So what are you doing with that? Are you going to range out a little bit? What are you?
Just like up the perimeter of the camp to see if there's any recent disturbances.
Okay. And you're a ranger?
I'm a monk.
A monk. All right. So how far out do you go? Now the camp's waking up. People are moving around. Fires are kind of burning down while they're planking and making noise and casting spells, whatever. So how far out from the party are you going to go?
25 yards.
Okay, so you head out a little bit off the butte somewhat, start ringing yourself around. All right, so what are you doing?
Yeah, I get up and brush my hair, make sure my long blonde hair is flowing blonde. Right. But
You are fabulous.
Yeah.
But I survey the perimeter and just from my elevated as much as I can see, just to see if anything's out of place. That sort of thing. Just survey.
Give me a spot check. Illusionist, what are you doing?
I'm actually, I'm gonna go, food is a good idea, so if, is anybody cooking?
I think some coffee's being brewed somewhere. So the smell of coffee's kind of rising up and around.
I'm making it.
Yeah. There's a lot of coffee being brewed.
That's the 21 on my check sheet.
Hey you, no dragons this year, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
That sent everybody off the boat.
Just tell us earlier. All right, so you just start preparing food, get some gear going. All right, so what are you guys doing when you get up in the morning?
I'm just pulling on the chainmail and just. I'm also as a barbarian. I get the vibe of the woods. Is everything seen? Are the birds silent or anything crazy?
Give me a
like that?
survival check. I think that's a con. I think it's a con. I haven't looked at it today, but we're gonna just make a con check.
So what's 20?
Okay. Nothing seems odd to you. You don't sense anything. There's a couple of birds chirping the other ones. Nothing seems kind of out of place.
I am maintaining my patrol at the end of the watch. I found that chewing on certain roots tends to keep me awake. I don't need some coffee.
And
so far, I have not collapsed. Nothing untoward has occurred, and I will just keep an eye on things as everyone else remembers.
All right.
Oh shit, before I fully get dressed, I'm gonna walk over.
All right. Outside of the perimeter, or
No,
just
no,
so
just
everybody
right
knows? Is it?
Not completely.
Yes. There you go. So what are you doing?
Just packing my dog.
All right. Then you got a dog. You've got a dog mouth. What kind of dog is it? All right. Okay. Good to know. All right. So yeah, the dog is just he gets up a little bit lazy, shakes himself off somewhat, not paying much attention to it. So to whatever's going on around. So what are you doing in the morning?
Fred is giving me spells and, getting
Go
my,
ahead, go ahead. It's all right.
Okay, gear yourself up. And what are you guys doing?
Brewing coffee.
So then, okay, so you start brewing a coffee, and what do you do?
Watching her brew coffee.
Okay.
It's food time. If you haven't noticed, so I'm gonna turn it a little bit for a second. I'm gonna go back to the game.
It's not raining today. Let me sleep.
Ranger foraging for food close to camp.
Okay. Within the kind of the confines of where you guys kind of pitch camp there. Okay, so nothing out.
Not far.
I'm polishing my shield and watching him watch her make coffee.
Okay, so in general, everybody's just kind of gathering.
Sounds like government work.
Put your gear together, except the monk is kind of ranged out. Now you spy from your vantage up in the hammock where you are 15 feet, 20 feet above everybody, rocking the wind a little bit.
Okay.
You can see it's pretty foggy outside, but much like 6 Watt saw, you can see that the fog is kind of broken. You can see the very edge of what appears to be a canoe down on that creek. Now that creek is probably about 20 feet wide, give or take. It doesn't appear to be moving particularly fast, and it appears to be kind of muddy. clayey, so it's kind of brownish water, which is kind of unusual in dark and fall. You get a lot of water flow here. It's kind of brownish. All right, so Muck, I need a spot check from you as you're kind of looping around. You seem to be the only one concerned about. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I see nothing.
One out of 22, and she's
Do you want us to add the? You want us to add the scene song to the front?
No, just let me know if it's wrong. Back, yeah, just let me know.
All right, because last year you did it different.
Yeah, I did it. I constantly. I can't ever decide how I want to do it.
I see nothing.
What did you roll?
7.
So you rolled a 7. Did you add your level and your?
Oh, I have my level.
Add your level and add your attribute.
Well, 10.
10. All right. So just as a point of order, don't ever. I know what you're saying, but don't ever say, just tell me the number, because you don't know what I'm doing back here. It might be extraordinarily low. As in this case, it is extraordinarily low. So you're kind of looping around. You move to kind of the west side of the encampment, and you can see what everybody else, or what the 6th watch side, you can see where the fog is kind of broken up. If you don't see the canoe that the other fellow saw, but you do see, as you're moving about, an arrow stuck into a tree. Right, and it's stuck into the tree from the direction of your camp, as if it was shot from the direction of your camp. Or arrow.
Shot my favorite cheese.
Keep looping around, or what do you do with this information?
I'm back to the camp. Anybody loses their arrow?
So you guys are cooking your coffee and eating your breakfast and gearing up, and she comes back in and says that. Any response to it?
What's an arrow?
I think trouble is afoot.
Can I see that?
Is that an elven arrow by chance?
Yeah, you have no. You're a human.
No.
Elf? You know it's not an elf.
Okay.
You certainly have.
So it's poor quality.
Okay.
Well, I am. My curiosity.
What do you do?
Did you bring your rock arrow back?
Oh, it's still stuck in there.
I don't think so.
Would anyone care to join me in investigation? With mine. Dude, Lucerne, hammer.
All right, so you two head down.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that the
another
idea?
45 minutes to get this full fight on.
Yeah.
It's an arrow?
Well, I mean, we'd be able to have gotten my plate armor on by this point.
You probably have that.
I'd go walk down there, just with helmet on, and if you need an axe, not a hammer. Oh, this helmet is fantastic. It's a square, it's got a bandana.
So
Why is it bandana on helmet? Don't know.
Can you briefcase extra because we're twins and the top of my head is missing?
There you go.
There you go.
Got a nice flat line.
All right, so
Got
you
chopped off.
helm on, pick up your axe, head down with the knife down it. Anyone else doing anything while they're doing this?
Make sure it's just one arrow.
I'm drinking all the
Just
coffee.
coming down from the tree and just gonna go. Maybe get a couple more people to help me go check out the canoe.
Okay. All right, so start rounding up whoever. What do you got?
With a bow, I will try to let them go forward towards the arrow, but keep them covered. Like watch them
So
from
you kind of
a.
get on top of the view, looking down.
Yeah.
It doesn't take you but a second or so as you kind of move down. You can spot the arrow. The arrow is extraordinarily large. It's probably about this long. The fletchings aren't particularly craftily done. The arrow itself isn't that well made. Both of you guys give me an intelligence check. You're a knight, right? And what are you? Fine.
Yes, but no.
Oh, that's right. What's your actual?
I'm actually a fighter who thinks he's a knight.
That's right. Yes.
I have 7 on private.
Intelligence?
Yes.
Oh, that's
It's an arrow.
14.
Okay. You know, it rings a bell with you. There's something odd about this arrow, but it doesn't. You can't quite.
It's quite lacking in nobility, I know that for sure.
There you go. You're gonna have to query someone with some kind of more knowledge about arrows than yourself. You certainly don't.
I'll just accept that.
I'll chop this tree down if you want.
It's the only way to
If we want to investigate, instead bring back the arrow, right?
Just bring the whole tree.
Where are you?
So now, how are you? What do you do to round up? As they come back talking about this arrow,
So these
cutting down a tree.
These two are coming with me. I'm going.
Alright.
And we're gonna go check out. You're gonna come out and come with me. So us 5.
I'll go.
Alright, so we got.
Wherever you're at.
Yeah.
There's a plate crew is all pretty good armored.
So what do you
Yeah,
got? You got
and while the coffee
saddle?
crew leaves, we're stealing that shit, right?
He's going to have a
Stealing that shit,
It's a
right?
dog, so you got
Oh, okay.
verbal commands on the
We
dog.
will get our
So-
own. Yeah, we'll get theirs too.
All right,
I got a whole posse, and we're gonna go
There's a
check
good
it out.
half dozen. So now is the armored wing staying in camp?
Yeah,
Or-
We're got the padded coat on already. And also, while the coffee people leave,
All
we're
the people
stealing all
that
the coffee.
buckle up my armor are gone.
Stand up against the tree.
We're gonna do it on the system.
It's all horrible over here. The Panzer Brigade over here. All right,
It's a
so-
shield wall, but it takes a while to get going.
So the three of you guys with a group, I suppose, of people following you back down the hill towards the canoes, correct? Right, all right. So it's probably about 40, 50 feet down this bluff. It's loose growth down there. The trees here are, clearly the bluff has broken away and slid enough that there's no old growth here. So whatever trees managed to grow, you know, a few years of rain and part of it slides away, the tree itself goes with it. So at the bottom of this bluff, it's not difficult to get down, but at the bottom of this bluff, you've got a lot of deadfall. When you get into the deadfall, at this point, it's just, the fog's broken just a little bit more. You know, you got a good hour or so before this fog breaks up. But now you can see that this creek is clearly in some kind of clay bed, and it goes off in what appears to be maybe the west. From this vantage, you can see 5 large canoes pulled up onto the bank of this creek.
large.
Easily they can hold 5 people, so they're about 17 feet, give or take. Now, I say 5 people, but plate mill is really 2 people. So just keep that kind of in mind if you end up using these canoes.
So one of us per.
Yeah.
We're gonna
1
roll
acre per
Titanic
boat,
pools.
right?
So you also see, now this is just from, you're still a good 150 feet off from these canoes, right? So when you're seeing them, clearly there's a dead body, bloated somewhat, stiff. The arms are kind of stuck into the air, and it's got some wicked looking wounds on it. Whatever it was, it's smaller, maybe a dwarf, maybe a gnome, maybe just a short human, but it's definitely got some pretty wicked wounds on it. And it appears to be an arrow floating in the water, stuck into something just outside from where the canoes are kind of, 5 feet into the water, 5 feet out.
And you said this is a human that's, or we can't?
You're going to have to get up and
Yeah. This looks awful. I go invisible.
Suddenly a third of your party, well, not a third, I guess a whole bunch of you guys are going. So, a tenth of the party is just...
Statistically 0.
Yeah, there you go.
So take a look and see at this point, are there any tracks around or anything that...
Are you a ranger?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Is there any other rangers? It seems like there was one more. You're a ranger?
Barbarian.
But now you're still up on the butte with your
Right, I'm
arrow,
down by the
kind of
butte
keeping
right
it up. Now, but you were covering these two. Now they've come back, and then a good third of the party is headed down the hill. Are you doing anything? Are you holding your position, or what are you doing?
If these 2 came back, I'll talk to them about the arrow.
About the arrow. Okay. So, Knight, you can explain to him what you discovered, or you can explain to him what you didn't discover.
Did it sound like a... Did it sound
I
like...
discovered that, I mean,
From the
we're-
description, did it sound like a ballista
Reaffirm
bolt?
that you like your helmet. That's relatively certain.
no blind spots here.
Right. I see the arrow. It's clear. It's right there.
From description, did it sound like a ballista bolt?
It's big, yeah. So it could be a small ballista. But you're gonna have to go down and look at it before you kind of determine. But yeah, it could possibly be.
Stay there, I'll bring it up to you. 20 minutes.
Gotta chop the tree down first.
There you go.
He knows
All right. So now, did you go down the hill? Did you go down the hill, Chuck?
I'm with the halfling, no.
All right. Well, now he's going down the hill, right?
You are?
Yeah.
Why don't you come over with me? I go.
So now you were irritated and getting up in the morning. You kind of played the sleep out of your eyes, had all power. Were you going? Were you just watching this unfold?
I'm just watching.
Okay, so you just kind of relaxing, eating a little hardtack in the morning. So Kevin, so what are you doing?
Let's see, we've already gone and investigated. We're coming back.
So you went with the party, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now you both went with the party
Yes.
going down in. So Ranger, so have you decided what you're doing? Are you going down the hill or?
I'll join the party if these 2 came back.
Yeah, they're kind of moving past you at this point. Even by the time you guys have gotten to the bottom, the rear end of the party is still coming down the hill. It's trailing out, whatever. Okay, so you guys are still armored up. About now, you're mostly armed. You got a couple more rounds, and you're good. What are you doing?
So those guys are like still getting their armor on.
Yeah,
They're
mostly.
eyeing the coffee like they're gonna steal it. If they get a little too close to the coffee, I'm gonna just like behind my back make the coffee lid to the can go no.
So the magic
That
of coffee.
happened at least about 7 times. So.
Why do they keep revisiting the coffee time and time?
Oh, the wonders of the darkened fold.
Ranger, give me a track check.
It's really strong.
Yeah.
Can I use inspiration?
With the Ranger? Absolutely. That gives him like a bonus on his All right, so the bard actually begins to. Well, tell me what the bard does.
Oh, sugar, you're doing that so well.
That was inspirational.
So that's going to give you a +2. +2. So that gives you a +2 on your check.
So 17, not prime.
17 non-prime. So what are you investigating? Tracks? You haven't gone to the body yet, right? You were looking for tracks?
Right.
Okay, so you're kind of looping around. There's a lot of tracks. There's clay here. It's rained a little bit. Not even the rain, but the mist in the morning, the dew has kind of filled the tracks up enough that you can't quite discern what was moving around these canoes. Clearly something was. Looking at the body, it's probably, just even from your vantage, it's probably 15 hours it's been laying there, something like that. So sometime yesterday, whoever was here got hit by whatever. But you're going to have to do a lot more tracking and a lot better tracking than that to figure out what's going on.
Sure.
And at this point, you've got people now, as the rest of you guys are coming down, you come down on your Mastiff. You still stand up in the camp?
Yeah.
All right, so, yeah, now the camp's got about half, only way you've got enough protection. There's camp's pretty over here, so.
Hanging out with the coffee pot.
I'm having a full-on conversation with this dude. I don't care that he's saying no. Can I have some now, please, baby?
Never let him have coffee. Is that
I'm ready.
And
I'm
I'm
ready
just-
to like do it like a certain number of times in front of me, be like, fine.
Finally, you get your cup of coffee in the morning. All right, so when you guys are coming down, following the ranger and the monk down into the hill, the ranger stops and begins to kind of move about, looking at the ground. Do you all stop, or you just keep going forward and investigating these
trample.
canoes or what?
I say human, go get that body.
You're halfling, right?
No,
Oh,
I'm human.
Oh, okay,
Human,
got it.
go get that body.
Are you? I thought someone over here.
So I set my coffee down.
On the wall. I thought someone was halfling. All right.
on the wall.
All right. I'm losing my mind. Okay, so.
I'll set my coffee down and go down.
Okay. So now, are you guys stopping?
Carefully, not
The ranger's clearly bent down on the ground, looking over. Are you guys stopping to keep walking by? Is that
I'm stopping.
stop?
Is he an elf?
Are you an elf? Yeah, he's an elf.
Yeah,
He's got long blonde hair. Is that right? Is that
Therefore, we keep walking down to the canoe.
Okay, all right, so you keep going down.
And it's the body swell.
Okay, so you come down and start walking past. You stop. You still up in the camp, waiting to see what's going on. Now you went down. Do you stop when he starts tracking, or
I go to the canoe and like go like
right?
feet over just ahead and start wrecking around looking for stuff.
All right, and what are you doing? Yeah.
Following the range.
So you're with the range, but you're not getting in his way. You're kind of trying to see what he's doing. Is that
Yeah,
right?
basically defense is what's gonna happen. Or attempted defense.
Protecting him while he's tracking. But you, as you're standing there, people are just walking by you, walking up to the canoes. Dude. So you guys went down, right? Is that correct? Are y'all? You stop in front of or behind the ranger? Or you pass him?
I'm not gonna pass the ranger.
Let him do his job. Okay, so you guys went on to the canoes, correct? Is that
I stayed behind the ranger.
behind the ranger?
But kind of behind the body.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you actually get to the canoes first. He's headed that way, but he stopped waiting for the human. So clearly, there's the body lays there. When you're looking at it, it's definitely a dwarf. He's got some kind of horrible wound in his left side. He's laying there like I said. Most of his clothes and armor has been torn off. You can see a breastplate laying over in the clay and the mud. It's just been. It was clearly ripped off and pounded in, so it's unusable. There's, like I said, there's 5 very large canoes here, and you can see in the water between 2 of them a large trunk. It's probably about yay big.
Don't come over here, I found something awful, stay put.
Heavy padlock. And even as you're looking at that, beyond where the arrow was floating, bobbing in the water, you can see a second body bobbing up and down in the water. Clearly an arrow shot somebody, human or an elf, in the back, and it's dead.
I gotta go like this, open close. Open it up.
Do you have knock or something?
Oh, yeah, that's right, I need that. No, I don't have that. I just kind of.
Who else went to the canoe? Did anyone else go to the canoe? You went to. So as you're walking up, you can see him trying to. You see the chest clearly. I mean,
He's invisible, isn't he?
are you invisible?
I'm invisible. I'm
Yeah,
sweeping
you
it
don't
together.
see him seeing the chest. You see the chest. And there's water moving around in some kind of strange pattern as he walks in the water. But yeah, you also see the chest. It's kind of sitting in the water. you know, it's a little bit out, but in the water between the two.
I think I'm down there too.
You're headed down that way, and you stopped waiting for him. Is that correct? Alright, so
I'll just
what do
make
you do?
toothpicks.
I do a death ceremony for my fellow dwarf.
So you go to, chest is important, you're gonna go to the dwarf. When you get up to him, he's got wounds all over him. He clearly fought something ferociously. There's a huge, massive amount of bruises on his chest, so whatever hit his breastplate, the breastplate was still on him when it was getting knocked concave in and clearly killed the dwarf. Alright, so Armored Brigade, you guys are up, you got top people, what do you do? I think that you're in the camp, and you just about everybody else, there's no rangers in the camp.
When I saw the ranger walk off, I figured like, well, I don't need to cut down this car, or cut down this whole tree. So.
Oh, did you go down the hill?
No, I thought you said that these two that investigated the arrow came back to camp.
Yeah, no, and he offered to cut the tree down for you and bring the tree to you.
No, because the arrow is fine.
Alright, but I'll show you this helmet anytime you want.
Okay.
I will follow him, like, through the camp.
So now, are you leaving the camp or you to look at the arrow? What are you doing?
I'll be in camp.
Alright, so you're in camp. So what are you guys doing? So you're copied up, you armored up?
I will head on down to where the boats are and join the group.
But brother, I need help.
Oh yeah, you don't have he doesn't have his plate on yet.
Son of a bitch! Another hour! I got hard 15 minutes.
Alright, Derek, what do you?
So this is a lot of this seems a catastrophe. So whatever they're doing over there, I'm gonna go to the opposite end of this bluff, kind of look over, see what's going on out there. You know.
spot.
No, they can get down
JJ, what?
I briefly say, where'd everybody go?
Does anyone shout back? Someone from the camp shouts. Where is everybody?
Here.
Someone from down the hill, you hear the monk shout.
Don't die!
Don't plan on it.
18. All right, so you get to the edge of the camp. Okay, hold on just a second. So Brett, what are you doing? So you.
You know what? I'll be with them. I'll follow him to the next.
Did you guys go with him?
Yeah, I just shot
him. And then go to see what he's. Okay, so and where do you go?
Yeah, I'm gonna head down by the beach down by the river.
All right, so you head off down. So it's really the three of you guys. You two are getting armored up, and you've been doing this for a while.
Now I gotta armor his ass up.
Oh, you're not helping.
No, I'm helping him because
Oh,
the
okay.
guy's chopping down a tree.
All right, so you got an 18 on the spot check. Yeah. You get onto the edge of the butte, and you came up this direction late yesterday afternoon. You know, you weaving your way through the forest. When you get to it, you clearly see a large figure, tall figure, I should say, humanoid size, but it's a good 7 feet. It's moving. It's got shaggy legs, hairy legs on, and it's moving with a little bit of a bent pace, and it's got some kind of leather bergen down its side, and you clearly see a large war club with some kind of stone axe laced to it. You can't see the top of the creature, the foliage is too great, but he's clearly moving kind of parallel to the party. You know, he's not coming in, he's clearly just kind of moving.
What type of distance? How far did you say it was?
Probably about 150 feet.
150 feet.
Give me a, what are you, paladin?
Paladin,
Give me a
yes, sir.
charisma check.
Come on. Oh, that's a 19 on the die right there.
You look at it, it doesn't take you very long. I mean, just looking at his moving, the way he's gait and the weapons that he's got, you know it's a gnoll. Now, just to let everybody know, gnolls are pretty common, but everybody's you've encountered at some point. Gnolls are kind of an aberration in the world of air. They're one of the few creatures who fight, whether it's a female gnoll or a male gnoll, they fight only for the joy of killing something. They don't take loot, they don't take treasure, they don't care about any of that. They just want to fight, and they just want to kill you or kill whatever. It's really their only purpose in life is to kill. So you definitely see, they don't, yeah, and they use mostly weapons that they make, and they imbue with some kind of spiritual power that they give them. So the stone axe is something this gnoll has probably made himself, you know, before he can go into combat. So what do you do?
One gnoll never bothers me, so I will tell whoever the closest person to tap him to look down there, look at the wretched creature wandering. Nope.
He doesn't stop, you know, he keeps still kind of moving. He goes out of sight for a moment, you see him for a moment. And he's out of sight. You are correct. You win. All right, so you start moving down, and what were you doing? You were staying in camp?
Well, yeah, as soon as you motioned, pointing out the no.
Yeah, I did.
Nope, take it.
It's
I'm
one
in
gnoll.
agreement.
The three of us have agreed.
Committee over here. We have determined that this is no. All right, but no action to be taken. You're going to refile a motion or something?
Exactly. Fine. Hey, no, where are you going?
You shall. Okay, alright, so you all clearly hear that. And as soon as you do that, you can just see like the lower part of his calf. Immediately, it darts off and is gone, and you don't see it. He doesn't
That's why we don't say, hey, no.
Alright, so you go down. Now you have already headed down. Chuck, you catch up to where the habit was.
Yeah, you gotta do your own copies.
You start going towards
Never
the body.
again.
Is that right? When you get to the body, are you doing anything in particular? Are you
I'm
dragging him away from the river? Or?
I'm carrying him toward the shore.
Okay, so yeah, well, the other dwarf is carrying the dead dwarf into the forest line, I guess, something like that. What do you do? I mean, you were headed to it. I'm not sure what your purpose was. So.
No, I want to investigate the body when it gets.
When he brings it to him.
I'm like that. I don't have.
What are you doing?
360.
Half man.
That wasn't going to make it.
Let's not even go down that road.
Yeah, not even trying that.
It's one of the few classes they actually modify.
So, are you going to the?
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to. So you're going to the dwarf. We got a second. So what are you doing? You're still in the camp. The knights are kind of moving around.
Pancakes.
Wait, another pancakes?
You were just offered pancakes.
We're coming back.
We're actually by the knoll yelling.
Pancakes are also. Yeah. So now this is why you never get out of the dark. Easily distracted.
Magical portal out of the view sign says out of the dark and cold back.
Nobody's pancakes talk except his. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go. Do it right. All right. So now, what are you doing? The monk is kind of protecting you as you're, but clearly these people are just walking.
Yeah, I was down doing the whole, they laid here, and then everybody just started trampling over, and I'm just like, and so I'm like, whatever, I'm going to
That's why you All right. So the ranger in frustration's out. What are you doing?
Well, there goes my job. I'm just gonna follow.
I'm unemployed now. All right, so you guys moved down to the creek bank.
Right, but I
See,
stopped to trying to let the ranger do it.
You did actually. The wizard did
That
as well.
exercise.
So did I.
That's true, you did
too. Yes.
So if he gives up, I'm going to go to the dwarf body and see, like, as a cleric, anything I can do.
Anything that you can determine. Okay, so I assume you've laid it down at some. No.
He's dead.
So I start reading it, the rites and doing ceremony and
I'll put the dwarf down.
Okay, so now are you investigating it, or are you just doing kind of a religious
religious.
rites over? All you can tell from as you're doing it is just a horrific death. The dwarf fought, clearly his knuckles are bruised somewhat. I mean, he clearly didn't go down easily, but he's just dead. So you give him the last rites. So Chuck, you get to the body there. Illusionist, what are you doing? You're sitting in camp. We got some pancakes going. The knights are moving about somewhat.
I don't want to bother the rangers. What direction did the knoll? Like, I'm gonna ask him what direction were the knolls?
They're on the east. These three are on the east side of the view, and everybody else went off.
Oh,
the
they're
west
way
side.
over there.
They'll
That's not
stand
real
around
far.
like
You know,
this in
it's
front of the
not
grill.
real 20
So,
feet.
yeah,
That doesn't sit well with me, so I'm gonna head over in their direction.
All right. So
Like
the
one
illusionist
knoll?
joins you all. She's probably why the knoll was there in the first place.
My fault.
What do you?
There was
Going to the
no-
east side.
Okay. All right. So you move over there as well. By the time you two get there, there's nothing.
No, dog.
Right back to
Are y'all still looking for the knoll, or are you done with this?
Well, I mean, if it's gone.
He's gone. Yeah.
He's gone? But do we have an idea, did he run off like farther away, or is he going towards some type
So
of
if
direction?
this is the view, right, and you guys walk to this edge of it, he was walking this way, he went like that.
when you yell.
And
So you went
then-
directly away from there.
Yeah. He got out of sight. But now he's out of sight so fast that, he could be done.
Don't worry, illusionist, Christ averted, the knoll is gone.
This was scary.
Absolutely.
But you just.
Haven't dropped yet.
Like, did
You
you
know what
ask
they
them?
Where there's one knoll. they
Yeah,
always
they're
say
like
there aren't
cockroaches,
any more.
Alright, so, Wizard, you're invisible.
Yeah, I'm invisible, and I was trying to bury the chest. I'm a little frustrated because I don't know if it's buried. I'm trying to hide it.
Alright.
So I'm gonna look around. Is there anyone else nearby?
No. Did you go to the chest? Someone else went to the chest. No. Who went to the chest?
Nobody.
Alright, so you're heading down again. Alright, so you're alone. People are moving around.
Alright, so if I can't cover the chest and keep it to come back for later, I want to go find someone who I think is dumber than me. Gary.
You just spend a lot of time with me.
Alright.
You can see him. He's coming down the hill right now. He's working his way through the deadfall at the bottom of the hill in his plate mail, and it's not easy because your vision is somewhat restricted, and you're just kind of moving your way through this mess of deadfall. So you see him, weaving
I'm
his way
like,
towards
hey, and I forget I'm invisible. Down here.
You hear that, and
It's a
you
ghost.
still that. You hear
Holy
something
crap,
shouting, "Hey, down here, down here!" You're coming down there. You're going to the thing. Now you're still standing on the massive when armored knight comes, barbarian or whatever, come walking by you, and then you hear someone shouting, "Hey, down here!" from somewhere out in the creek bed area.
Can I see the splashing in the water?
Are you jumping in down, or you just? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the canoes are moving, so he's between two canoes. You're human.
Down to the.
I'm a no.
No, you can't.
Catfish.
The fish is fit to cover for
I'm gonna go to the ruckus.
Okay, yeah, so, you're just too small to make, you're between two large canoes, it's really why you can't see any water splashing around. And the trunk is really almost as big as you are, you could get in it if you were so inclined, and it's much, much too heavy. Alright, so you start moving into it, and you're going down the hill as well, and you're headed, now you're there, but you're headed to the dwarf, but clearly the cleric's doing something to the dwarf, what are you doing? Are you?
Brother, there's another cleric down there.
Yes.
Brother, sister cleric. What is happening down there?
Unfortunately, he's too far gone. I'm reading rights.
The fool, the dwarf's dead.
Guys, let him
Thank you.
You gotta mug him first. Well, kind of mug him.
Did the gnoll get him?
The ritual.
Yes, you were too late.
Perform the ceremonial looting.
So when the ranger starts moving, what do you do? The ranger's done. He can't track anything. Everybody's trampled his tracks.
Right.
What do you do?
Well, then.
And he's heading back to camp, right? Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay, so Wizard, what do you do? You're going back to camp too. What do you guys do?
We'll water back in
But you're going to the canoes.
Pancakes.
No, you're out.
Well,
Pancakes.
where are you going?
I went to the canoes. Pancakes. You're going to split the entire party with your magical pancakes. Alright,
All right, we're gonna survive. We're drinking coffee and eating pancakes.
You went back to the break. Alright, so you come walking up, you can hear, and now you can see some splashing around this large trunk that's between two of the canoes. What was your class, Grace? Have a barge coming up behind you, and the dog-mounted halfling is coming up. And it's a mastiff, so it's a stout. It's a stout dog.
Chest in the water?
Yes, the chest is about, like I said, it's about yay big and probably about halfway into the water. And when you get up in the back, all of you that you were down there,
Don't tell everybody about
there's
it.
a lot of clay. There's a lot of clay here. So the trunk itself is somewhat stuck in the clay bed. Not, horribly stuck, but it's somewhat stuck into the clay bed of the. And clearly the reason that the water's brown is because the clay here is just kind of discoloring the water somewhat. It's moving a little bit quick. You got a lot of feeder streams you can see because of all the rain, clear as blue. But yeah, it's in front of you and it's pretty stout, a little bit stuck.
Alright, well.
No, you see nothing on it. It's one large padlock.
Alright, he tries to yank it out.
All right, give me a strength check on that.
Can I inspire that?
Absolutely. Well, how many times you can do that a day? I have no absolute knowledge. It may be 10.
20.
You need a better example?
You said 20 prime?
Do what?
I think you said
20 prime.
20 prime. Alright, yeah, the side of the trunk's it's actually got rings on the front and the back that you can run posts through, but it's also has handles on it, so you kind of grab a hold of it, and after a momentary sucking sound, it's heavy. The thing is just heavy, but you manage to get it up and out of the water.
I cheer him.
Strange cheering coming from 2 holes in the water in front of you. So, this illusionist is standing. And you do see 2 holes in the water in front of you.
Okay.
You drop the trunk on it? It startles you enough.
No, I bring it on the shore and set it down.
Alright, so you bring the trunk up, and what are you doing, and what are you guys doing once you bring it
I'll just follow. I'm very curious. I'm also looking at the arrows. Can I tell anything about the arrows?
There's one broken arrow in the, well, there's one broken one in the dwarf. Most of it's stuck in his side here, but there's another one stuck in a body that's bobbing up and down in the water. And you can see the creek's moving. It's not moving particularly fast, but it's broad. But the body itself keeps kind of bobbing up and down. And that's the only clear arrow. It too is a very large arrow, so no one here that has a bow could actually shoot that arrow.
Would it be consistent with a knoll arrow, or is it too big for that?
Yeah. So as soon as you shouted no, I forgot to tell you. So gnolls are known for they're known for their viciousness in combat, their fearlessness, their desire not to die, but they don't care if they die. They're also known for a particular weapon they use, which is called a gnoll bow. The bow is so large and so powerful that you really have to be on the upper end of your strength to even bend it. Gnolls can't even bend it, but what they do is they lay on the ground and they brace it on their feet and pull it back, drop an arrow, and shoot it. It does absolutely horrific amount of damage if you're hit with one of these things. It can kill pretty quickly. So this is kind of common knowledge, particularly in the dark. Probably this is an arrow shot from a gnoll. Okay. Yeah. How many canoes are there? There's 5 canoes.
Were they beached here, or somebody pulled these up onto?
They've been pulled up onto the shore. Yeah.
Are they're big enough to hold gnolls?
Probably not. They're kind of shallow. But and gnolls really they swim well. Gnolls aren't known for any kind of using stuff like that.
Okay.
If they want to cross a river, they go in the river. You know what I mean? They will use a canoe, but mostly gnolls are just fishes.
I'm considering the chances of taking one of these canoes down the river.
Did we get everybody?
It's like a 20-foot long.
So you guys are armored up. What do we have?
Nothing can go wrong.
Let's
go down to the river.
Didn't he see there were?
I mean, is there a van?
What?
Van?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
The
Caravan.
whole- Yeah, there's a whole 10 boats down there, I heard.
All right.
More sex gold.
I haven't heard anything about gold.
Down the river.
Yeah.
Derek, what are you doing?
20 boats full of diamonds.
You know, they sound like they're going down by the river. That sounds like a serious drowning situation. I shall
nightmares, memories.
I shall command from on the butte up here, and I'll watch the situation unfold.
Alright.
It's no big deal, you guys just have to start taking off all your armor.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
I got a good strength. You can swim.
I can swim it.
Alright, so JJ, what do you think?
We should go get some pancakes. Those smell really good.
Sorry, that's too much
Grab a
sugar.
pancake.
Too much sugar.
Grab a pancake.
You got quite a crowd gathered around this
Well,
place.
she's actually making breakfast, so.
It's
I was helping.
I'm going
This is the dog
to
football
head
going.
down to where the canoes are.
Heading down to the river, you're down to the river, you're down to the river, Monk, you're heading back up, but you see there's this,
Everybody's.
you see, there's this slow
It's a
draw as
difference
people are
between
slowly
party
coming
and
down the
24,
hill.
I turned
But
back
you do
around.
smell pancakes, you know, and so it's a pull. So you turn back around, head back down.
I'm heading back.
Alright, so you gotta turn, and Ranger, what do you do?
I was coming back into the camp. My plan was to gather everybody and say, hey, there's something going on. We've got canoes, a dead body, we've got some tracks. I have no idea what they are, but there's something going on. We should probably all head down.
I just got this wonderful vision of these people moving past you, but your great speech there it has to contend with the smell and taste of pancakes. People are looking at you like you're crazy.
No, they're not only to him.
They're talking to him.
No, well, my.
Only his are talking, or only he can hear them.
Alright, illusionist. So the ranger comes up and
I'm
says
actually-
this to anyone left up on the butte you hear.
I'm actually gonna be like, does anybody care that these boats probably didn't row themselves to the shore?
No.
There's dead people.
Ask
That's
your
why
question
we're
again.
not
What are you
lucky
trying to say?
anymore.
I'm saying
They
that
brought the
where's
loot
the
to the night.
camp?
Right up there, where the pancakes are.
So far, we've seen 2 dead bodies.
Yes, but they didn't row 7 boats.
Well, not all at once.
Ocean hides evidence.
Wait, there's boats?
Oh my god.
Slowly the news spreads.
Canoes and dead bodies.
We should just get on the boats
Down that way.
We're lost. boss. We deserve the boss.
I resist the urge to cast charm person and have them hit their heads on their shields.
Oh, this helmet.
All right, so what are you guys doing? Y'all came back to the
I
camp.
went down to the boat.
Down to the boat. Down to the boat.
If I'm finished with my pancakes, I'm waiting for trouble to arrive. It always does.
We will assume that you rolled your pancakes up, wolfed them down.
Oh yeah.
And headed down to the
Ah,
boat.
yes.
So you're down. So cleaning up, getting done with that. You fed with the delicious pancakes. You're already down.
I'm eating my pancakes and I'm gonna watch these guys try to swim.
You built us up a little chair on the view there.
Coffee.
It's actually a good idea. I'll sit next to you.
That looked like a good show. Yeah. All right. So you guys are down, and so you've got the dwarf dressed and buried in whatever rites you're doing over. Slowly, you can see, just the drag of the party slowly gathering around the canoes. What do you guys do?
Once it's buried, we'll go gather with the others.
Yeah, it's not buried. Buried is going to be a whole different ball of wax. I need to know how deep, but even that, you've got a lot of roots you're going to have to get.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the time to start burying them.
All right, so you're going all in.
No rush. There's no rush.
It'll take him an hour to get through the pancakes anyway, so. Are we helping him dig, or?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a hesitation there for a moment. Ranger, what are you doing?
Rear guard for the group going down to the boats, ignoring the guys who are apparently going to stay in camp or go swimming or
whatever they're doing.
Forget the rest of them.
You guys haven't started moving yet.
No, the 2 of us are still.
I mean, look, we're on a butte. This
Yeah.
is the safest place in the garden.
See, everyone.
Built a little fort. Oh, today.
They live there now.
Yeah.
Next year, you'll find us up here.
Level 3.
Yeah,
We're gonna go take out a dam about 3 miles upstream.
That's right. There's always a way. So somewhere around mid-morning, you guys, most of you have drifted down to the canoes.
So when we see the treasure chest, I'm gonna break out my war horn and.
Alright, so that just sounds through the forest. A few birds fly up, it kind of rolls up.
That was a good idea.
I'll give you kind of a better idea of where you are. So you're on the bank of this small creek that's about 20 feet wide.
I get in the
Now-
boat.
So you've got the Darkenfold, of course, grows up to the banks of either side of the creek, and you've got kind of almost a valley in the forest itself that goes westerly. And now that the fog is being burnt off, you can see in the distance some very, very far away some mountain peaks, which gives you all kind of a good, clear idea that that's the Road Oaks, which you know that's west, because that's where the mountains are in relation to Darkenfold. But you've got kind of this valley in the forest in front of you, and when he sounds his horn, it just kind of rolls down the banks of the creek. A few birds fly up, and it goes beyond the creek, and you can hear it kind of as if it's in a in a mountain valley, rolling back and forth for 2 or 3 rounds before it finally kind of dwindles and dies.
Is there an answer?
Don't horn. Well said. All right, so I think we've got the monk in the canoes. What are we? Well, you're still buried. How deep are you going to go into this?
I'm just deep enough to be able to pile rocks on top of them to finish it up.
It's going to take you a little bit, but not too much. Yeah. Now you all see these 2 buried in this pool. Does anyone assist?
Oh, I have strength enough for that.
All right, so you get in to
Can I
help.
borrow your axe, brother?
Yes, but first I
All right. We're gonna open this treasure chest.
Oh, come on, I could have done that! I could have done that!
It's my chest, I found
Hey, you're gonna go bury a body.
No one can see you.
It's
Are you
just
doing
getting
it?
open.
It's my chest, I found it!
You all can.
God damn it! Why is everything fucking talking to me today? Fuck you, chest. That's a 17 on the die.
He just wants the voices to stop.
And that's how we lost our first party.
8 points of
You hit that padlock hard. You can tell it's a good padlock. It's in good shape. You crack it right down the middle. The top part falls, and it just it springs apart.
I scream out, why did you hit me?
Again! psychedelic mushrooms in the air. I'm losing my shit. Oh, you're one better.
There you go.
22.
So you hit the top of that thing, it cracks the top, and it's kind of got a brass top on it. It cracks it, and it bends it enough that the lid it doesn't open, but it pops open a little bit. So now it's not going to close well. But you got a nice good dent in the top of it.
It's full of foliage.
Fucking stop talking to me!
I grabbed Bob back of the shoulder. Brother, it's the mushrooms.
That was 5 days ago!
The coffee triggered the flashback.
There you go.
Alright, so
I'll drop the accent.
Well, I mean, give it.
the trunk is open. You're there, obviously you're there, and you two in front of the trunk. You opening it, or I mean,
I'm going up though to help them.
I mean, it just moved
So now the trunk opens by itself.
Pop the trunk open, and it's filled, it's got...
Wait, the invisible guy's opening the trunk?
Yes.
Bad shit may happen. You got a very paranoid fighter at this point. Fucking trunk's talking to me, now it's opening on its own.
Prestidigitation, I'll open it up from a distance.
I am paranoid, like, what the fuck is going on here?
Well, the trunk does indeed open by itself.
Well, what's in it? I mean,
See tubes.
tubes.
There's long tubes, probably each about 12 inches long and round.
Not valuable.
Yeah, they're round.
Is it here so?
Pull one out.
Yeah.
So pull the tube out. It seems to be made of some kind of clay or something, very, very stout clay, and it's got a lid that clearly just kind of caps on the top.
Here, break this open.
Uncap, are they sealed?
When you uncap of it, no, it's not sealed. When you uncap it, look inside. There's coins, but they've got jagged edges all around. Which you're a barbarian, that's leading You're a bard?
Yeah.
Yeah, legend lore or what have you?
Yes.
I can
Is that charisma? Yeah, use your charisma.
I don't know what class abilities do and stuff. I can't remember.
It is tell a story.
I just tell a story. That's on you guys.
I just sell the most, I don't read.
I really, it's a standard rule in my game. I don't familiarize myself with character classes. That's for players.
Is there 12 prime?
Is there 12 prime? Looking at it, it doesn't. No, I'm good. Thank you. Looking at it, it appears to be coins that are uncut. So clearly this has more value than just it would face value coins. Because the weight on it, whenever it gets to whatever jeweler or coinsmith or whatever, they're going to cut off the edges, save the edges, recast or whatnot. So this thing is just filled probably with this tube itself would have about 20 uncut golden coins. It's a gold piece. Each one would be a gold piece plus.
But they're just flat discs or flat squares?
Yeah, so it would be from a town called Petersboro, which is roughly 85 miles from where you guys are as the crow flies. And you all know what Petersboro is?
I never made it there, but I heard about it.
You heard about it. So if the Darkenfold, yes, if the Darkenfold is this, you guys are roughly in here, all right? Mistbane comes down, Powder comes down, you guys are somewhere in this mess. Petersburg is right up in here, and it's quite famous for stonemasons. It's actually where a lot of people of your profession go to sell stuff that you found.
I grab a couple of those too.
So you just reach over and grab out some of it.
Yeah, it's fresh loot.
No, we can. Yeah, seriously.
Alright, so they're emptying that chest pretty quick. So how many of those
We'll go
tubes?
through them all.
Alright, so you grab two. How many are there? At least 20 and 18 in there.
I run with it.
Wait, tube flying tube?
Well, it's in my possession. It goes
invisible.
Oh, okay. It goes invisible?
You saw something.
I try and tackle it. I don't know if I hit or miss.
Too many bodies around.
Too many bodies, but clearly I'm flying in
Alright,
for
so
it.
everybody who's
I've got a nice
around,
stance
a little
with
bit
it.
of frenzy picks up around his chest as you guys start grabbing out some tubes. You grab out a couple of tubes. Anyone do anything? Anyone? You're going for the chest? You go in. So how many you get? Two?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, you
If
grab
I
a
can
couple.
snag more, I'll do it.
You can. I mean, anyone else go into the? You guys
Sure.
still up on the
Sure. I'll snag a couple.
You head down.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Alright. So Bearing, what are you doing? Helping them, watching.
I'll take a look at one of the two.
I mean, they're moving pretty fast. You go up and you're still up on the view.
I'm just watching this. This is fun.
Alright. Monk, what are you doing?
I see all this happening, I jump out of the boat, go to grab a couple.
Alright, you grab a couple of tubes, Ranger.
I was just starting to come back down, and I'm seeing everybody like frenzying, and then I'm just like,
Someone's handing out pancakes down there.
You heading back down?
I'm heading back down, but I'm
Getting any
just
tubes
like,
down? There's like 10 left or something like. Looseness, what are you doing?
I'm following the ranger because he seems to be the only sane one here.
Yeah, I resent that.
Alright, so.
All my reactions are perfectly
There's
normal.
only about 6 of these tubes left. Trunks left sitting on the back. Anyone else grab any?
Sure.
You grab a couple for yourself.
Yeah, couple for myself, couple for the brother.
Oh yeah, alright, so at least 2 left. Brett, you get any of those?
I was moving towards the canoes, and I think I'll just stay there.
Okay, alright.
So this is on the way, effectively.
Yeah, well, I don't. There's other things I'd rather fight for than canoes. So.
Yes, yes.
you're fighting, you're scrapping.
No, he's fighting.
Alright, so.
There's been no
Wait
deaths
until
yet.
down. You got a dead body on the bottom, it's still bobbing up.
Oh, there's plenty of shouting
You guys
and
get the
walking
dwarf
around.
berry?
I think we should take this off.
What are we doing?
Body in the water. I want to go check.
Alright, so you move out into the water.
Oh, yeah,
Let's start
yeah,
here,
yeah.
try to catch up. So what are you doing?
A horse? Of course I do.
You want that body out of the water?
Why am I riding it?
I got you for this. I will walk out onto the water, grab the body, and walk right back. In full flame.
Alright, so you head into the creek.
Depends on if they do.
Again, this is what a military man does. He watches all
Alright, but you're at the edge of the butte. With this fellow over here kind of watching it unfold. Alright, KJ, you with?
I'm upstairs with the people watching.
Okay, alright. Brett?
I'll go with click
So you said it was body, not floating.
Yeah, it's in the creek, it's floating, but it keeps kind of bobbing up and
I
down.
took a rig walk.
Not moving.
That's my magic.
moving a little bit.
Well, I'll wait.
Well, I don't know, Yo-Yo wants to try waiting out there in full flame.
Alright, you're not gonna go in.
But I'm literally walking out of the water.
Yeah.
Yes. Like it's plain flat.
Yeah, that's
weird.
playing out. Alright, so what are you doing?
I'm gonna keep an eye on the perimeter.
Alright, so you're gonna just keep giving a spot check. Illusionary, your wizard, you're still invisible. You got.
Absolutely, I got the tube, and I'm gonna suggest to my companion who's bigger than me, but obviously not as smart, to get in the boat. Let's just get back in. These guys don't know what they're doing.
So this voice is whispering that to you as you're watching the
How
creek.
long does this invisibility last?
So
It must be your conscience.
You're looking out. You don't see anything really distracted by a voice in your ear that keeps telling you.
Oh, I'm sorry, prime. It is prime.
10 prime.
Yeah.
Alright, you're looking at. You really don't see anything other than the fog's kind of breaking up, but you do hear the voice in your ear.
So
To
now
get
get
you
the
get
boat.
It must be your conscience.
He gets in the boat.
Are you going to the boat with us? On the boat? You go down to the boat. You got the tubes. You want to get back in the boat or?
Yeah, I'm coming back in.
Back in the boat. Are you getting in the boat? They're getting in.
Because he's in the boat now too, right?
I see them getting in the
Nobody
boat.
else is like,
Oh,
no,
I
I'm
thought you
not.
were in the boat.
I
He's
see
still
them getting in
down.
the boat.
Oh, he's convinced.
I see them getting in the boat, so I assume they know what they're doing, so I jump back.
They're not.
That's very important. So my goal is to get in a boat and leave like these crazy people behind. So, but I will get into a boat with these guys if there's room.
Yeah, it's a big canoe, so you guys can get into. Well, it's really you only see 2 getting in the boat. So,
Okay.
but it's like I said, a good 17 people.
I'm gonna get in a boat.
So half the party's still with pancakes and some people are getting boat.
No, pancakes left are
4 of us are on the hill.
2 and
Pancakes.
right?
I'll go down to the boat.
Okay.
And he finally surrenders his throne and starts heading down to the edge of the. So there's really only 2 left on the butte, right?
Yeah. Watching over everyone's gear that they left up here.
Everyone took their gear with them. So we will assume, except the tent. Now the tent's still up there. That's gonna have to be struck. And
So the guys up on the butte, can I just cast message, which is a short whisper?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like, come down here by the boat, please.
start heading down.
If they're sending magic, that's enough for me. It must be important. So go down.
All right, you're going down. So that means you. So.
I listen to voice thing and criticize.
I ignored the trash crab. If everybody's starting to move towards boats, and that would be the direction to go.
All right, so one's filling up, getting your own canoe. Is that the plan?
I'll see if anyone would like to join me on my noble
I just
journey
wanna-
down the water.
I just want to point out that there's a knoll out there with a bow, and it's a lot easier to hit the little man in the canoe than is what initially thought.
Does that impact anyone's slow moving towards the boat? Yes. Okay.
It impacts the fact that I'm not getting on a boat.
Alright, so nobody's yet getting in your boat. So then you're mounted. He's giving his speech. What do you do?
I'm gonna go back to camp, pack up the rest of my stuff, and head the opposite direction.
Hey, you're still in camp, cleaned up, got everything done. What do you do?
I see him walking on the water towards the
Right,
bottom.
we'll get, he's not actually on the water. We'll get to that in just a second.
I'm gonna go.
He's on the water.
I'm gonna go down towards the other body since she's already buried the other one.
Okay, yeah, she's putting that under the earth. So, Chuck, what are you doing?
The half man has ordered us to go to the canoes, so I will be escorting him.
No. He said there was a knoll in the woods with a bow. I don't wanna go that way.
Very well.
Okay,
What do you want me to do?
we're gonna go pack up stuff and we're going to leave this place.
All right, I'll pack up the horse.
There we go.
You're gonna pack up something.
It's
Yeah.
Hold up that horse.
You're headed down, right?
He's got a dog.
That is true, and it's a big dog, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Half horse.
So, are you getting in a
My vote is to just follow the stream downstream.
Alright, so you're heading to a boat.
Yes.
Are you getting in the knight's, the knight's boat?
Yes,
I'll
the
get
nice
in the
boat,
next
thank
boat.
you.
Alright.
I'll get a nice boat.
Alright, you guys, thin layer of dirt, a few rocks on top. So clearly you're seeing some of the party is getting in, mounting in the boat. Some is not, some is heading up the hill.
Waiting to see if the other body's a dwarf.
So you're waiting for walking on the water knight over here to come after the body. So Ranger, what do you
No, he doesn't have to quite.
What are you, barbarian?
Straight fighter.
Covering the fighter in the water, looking for whatever the noble would
Give me a spot check. Give me a spot check. So add your level and your attribute bonus.
22.
You spy on the other side of the creek. You can see something moving up along just above the tree line, above the tree root line. You can't quite make out what. Something's definitely moving. Could be an animal, could be a knoll. You can't quite make out what.
I'll point it out to anybody else in the area who might have a bow.
Well, I don't know who has a bow, but whoever's near the canoes.
That's
hears
what I'm
him-
saying,
Yeah,
so-
hears him say. Well, you guys can hear it up on the line.
By sound, I try to track it with a knocked arrow so people can look at what I'm pointing at.
Okay, give me a spot check. I assume that you're looking for it, Jack. Assume you're looking for it. Give me a spot check.
No.
If you bring
One.
down.
Yeah.
What'd you get on the?
One.
That's not very good. So you're looking through the woods and you don't quite make anything out. All you see is trees, a little bit of patches of
I think there's some trees over there.
Yeah, anyone else
No,
looking,
but
anyone else stop what you're doing and
I-
look across the creek to see what he's.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're doing that, roll a spot check. Yeah, you're busy, so you're.
Yeah. I'm focused.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Roll a wisdom check.
I got it.
I got it on the
One
part.
arm, guys.
18 not prime.
5 prime.
14 prime. Prime.
12.
12.
Not prime.
22. So is that a non-prime or a prime?
Not crime.
Non-prime.
17.
17.
Natural 20 prime.
20.
We were with the.
You're waiting for the body to come out. So I guess I'm 13 prime. You want watching 14 prime. 14.
That would be 14 not prime.
What'd you get?
17.
17 prime.
7 not prime.
7 not prime. Alright, so illusionist, everybody's looking, but you can see clearly across. They don't see anything, but you clearly see this knoll, and it's crouched down. It has something in its hand that's kind of, it's resting forward on its hands, if that makes sense. But it has something clearly in its hand, and it's just looking at you guys. It creeks 20 feet, 10 feet of bank, 10 feet or more bank. He's 40, 45 feet from where you guys are. Clearly looking. He's got a huge headdress on. It's made of all kinds of just bits and pieces of bone, skin, whatever. It's kind of folded up and back over his shoulder. And he's just a watching.
I had something.
Hold the dragon.
I cast monster summoning.
I'm gonna cast Eyes of Fire on myself and look at him.
Okay.
I'm a well-rounded knight.
Go ahead and read that real quick. I know that. So now you walk out into the water heading to the thing. Now you've got plate mail on and you're human, right?
Yeah, but I have a ring of water.
Oh, that's right. All right. So as you walk out, when you walk onto the water itself, the clay's kind of stuck to your boot as you walk. As you're clearly walking on the clay, but you do manage to sink in the water a little bit.
Show off.
You're walking across the water, headed towards his body. And now, what does your spell do? You
Actually, it's only half the, so that's gonna be dumb. Can I retract the spell?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so as you're saying
it's
that,
only
the rest of you
20
guys, you stop to look.
I'm
You're
gonna
doing.
point instead.
Okay, she points that out. This knoll leap, even as you're pointing, this knoll leaps to its feet and just runs pell-mell out into the creek bed.
Out of the water, same style?
Yeah, it's got it doesn't walk on the water, but it's got a war axe in its left hand and some kind of a dagger, stone dagger in its right, and it's just barreling right at you, coming up. So what do you do?
I will draw my sword and get my shield off the shoulder.
Alright, so you swing stuff around. Alright, so there's going to be one round. Do what? He's on the opposite side, and he just crashes right into the water. He doesn't care about any of that. He's just barreling forward. So there's going to be one round before we connect. So we're going to go around the table.
If you go into the body, remember I was going through the body.
Okay, alright, so you're both in the water, but now you're also in plate now, but you don't have a ring of water. Is that right? So you're actually about knee deep in. You're knee deep in, and every time you walk, the clay is sticking in your
Yeah, I'll
plate.
be behind him.
Yeah, a little bit. So you're gonna have a slow movement where you guys are. So, Brett, you got anything? Any kind? You got one round to act if you've got a spell, missile weapon, or something. All right, I'll turn around.
Going closer down to
Move down.
I was wearing the body, so
You guys are
I
done.
see it. If I'm done with it,
The knoll screams a vicious.
I got a lit crossbow. I gotta cover the show off, brother.
All right, but it's not loaded, so you're gonna have to pivot and load it.
Fair enough,
Yeah,
fair
there's no way you're gonna get shot this round. So you're
Brother Doc.
And
No!
how far away behind him?
He's probably 15 feet ahead of you, something like that.
So I could probably, if when he has his first run of combat, I could probably close in and make an attack.
Maybe. We'll get to that in a second. But you have no missile weapon or anything that you can throw.
No, I'm just
looking
gonna
at
try
Jack. If
and-
any of you
Got
guys
your
are
bullets.
actually doing something directly hit the knoll, let me know when I come to you. What do you got?
Pull a crossbow.
All right, if you got any kind of crossbow, you're gonna have to load it first. You pull around. But you pull the crossbow around?
In that case, you know what, how close is the boat to where the body is?
Maybe 15 feet, 20 feet.
Okay, I look from the boat to try to get as close to them as I can.
But you're in play.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So you all right. Hold on.
I watched my companion hit the water. I'm really little and the boat's right. I just kind of duck really low and hide.
You're still invisible.
You realize when he jumps out of the boat, it's supposed to go.
Logan, you got any missile weapons or anything that you're hurling?
I have a dart. Well, darts.
Alright, so you're gonna pull it down now. Go with dart,
Yeah,
then throw. Now, pretty much the knight, to let anybody with a missile weapon know, the fighter is between you and the knoll as the knoll's running across. So if you roll really, really low, a 1 or a 2, I'm gonna have you re-roll.
Don't worry, he's got a lot of hit points.
I'm
Please
gonna
don't shoot me in the
apologize
ass.
Yeah, I'm just gonna apologize. Yeah, this is where I was apologizing. 13?
No, alright, so your dart goes wide, but it doesn't hit the knoll. Alright, Ranger, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Go ahead and
draw
find
my
us one
pause
dart.
longbow.
Get my shield sword out.
Pause the longbow and take a shot.
Go ahead and shoot. Illusionist? Illusionist, you got anything?
No, I'm gonna actually,
Goes
since
past.
there's a bunch of people with swords and everything already
Yeah,
for this
but
knoll, I'm
coming
gonna
out
watch
here.
the other side of the bank and see if he's the only one.
Okay, give me a spot check. You got any missile weapons?
I'm gonna shoot him with my composite longbow, hopefully, maybe.
Alright, go ahead and take a shot.
No. That's a 7.
Arrows whistling by the knoll. So
Javelin.
throw the javelin.
17.
17 hits him. You hit him.
Oh, finally.
You hit him in the stomach.
3 points.
It does not slow it down. Alright,
I plan to put outside of the boat so I can, ready to looser and hammer. I'm not moving, not approaching because there's so much stuff going around, but prepare to face justice, dog!
You had somebody
Hold
in
drive.
You call yourself
Just
Justice
move.
Dog?
That's a great name. Yeah, this is a motion.
So, I am going to go after him and cast aid.
Okay, to give you more hit points. Alright, so you move forward. Go ahead and roll a d8, and that's going to give you that. Alright, you got any ranged stuff? Or you headed back? You headed back. You got a bow?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta take a shot.
Hit point and then +1 to your hit, +1.
Arrow goes wild, this is no.
That's fantastic.
Go ahead and take a shot. Claire, you got anything?
Spiritual weapon.
Point it out.
But the other
I'm casting it.
Alright, I think that's a hit, right?
20
What'd you get?
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
22, that hits.
I don't have
It's
to
got a
remember
range of
from
50.
So if he gets a good loot, I
15
get
to
scout.
hit.
That hits, so give me whatever damage it does.
6 points.
6 points.
So that
Three.
is
Yeah,
6
six.
points
Yeah,
of
that's
damage.
Alright,
Javelin, 12 to hit.
Miss Fletcher.
Natural 20.
Alright, so on
I was gonna say, look, what?
Yeah. Natural 20, what I do is it's very simple, maximum damage, add a d4.
13.
Alright, so this knoll's coming at you. An arrow hits it in the stomach, an arrow hits it in the side, and a javelin hits it right in the throat, and it just crashes into the water next to you. Bobbing up in
Rated spotting, remember that.
It does only last 2 minutes.
And then the spirit, I got the spiritual hammer slamming inside of it. And now you have one.
So 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's 5:55.
You feel really good.
Great. Fucking crazy people talking to me, the coffee pots talking to me. This is what I do.
Alright, so the noble's dead, hits the water.
I flourish the Lucian hammer and go, see!
I'll grab both bodies and start making a back for sure.
Alright, put in a few rounds, bodies are up. No other knoll appears, you don't see any more knolls in the tree line. The body that you pull out of the water clearly killed with a knoll bolt, and it's an elf. It too has been raided. It wasn't, well, it was loaded, but the knolls just desecrated the body after they killed it. You know, just fell in the water. There's no equipment left to it. Maybe a move something.
By the way, you got two of these.
Who wanted the body? You wanted the body.
Who
Who wanted the body?
Oh, she was gonna help bury the next one.
Alright, so you got the bodies out. What do we got? Anybody? What are we doing with the body? I thought someone was sending a lot.
It's not a dwarf.
Now that the bodies are back, I'm gonna go right back into the middle of the river and
Shout
to the other side. Blow the war horn.
Okay.
Fuck you, Knowles!
It sounds up and down. It's up and down. Alright, so the body's laying on the bank. The Knoll's dead on the bank.
Did you notice why it was bobbing instead of?
Well, I assume the water's moving, but no. I don't know why it didn't move. The clay kind of sucks.
It sucks.
Give me an intelligence check.
Intelligence sucks.
Add your level and add your bonus.
Oh, Henry cut off repeat losing.
It's chewed up and down. There's clearly something's been eating it as it was floating there. That small bites, all of it. Probably a catfish or something.
Well, now I'm glad.
Are there oars in the boats?
Yes, each of the canoes has, probably three packs in each one.
So the people didn't take them with them?
Yep.
They're operational, all right.
Yeah, and the canoes are pretty rough cut. It doesn't look like they were, fashioned by artisans or anything like that. They're clearly rough cut, somewhere here in the Darkened Fold and ported around and used on this bank fight. Clearly not the two people that, maybe, but there were more if they used.
Lost people.
Do what? More lost people?
Wandering armies of lost
Some
people.
of your confused companions.
Yeah, I'm sure they're around here somewhere. That
Just
losing
those
them and finding
so
new
that
ones.
people just get lost and
Right.
every fight. Yeah. This is population control?
Yes. Alright, so.
My fighter wonders if the Rangers could take a look to see if they could find the knoll tracks, to see if there's more of them.
Sure.
Alright. Rangers.
When you're describing the stream, right, it's something, it seemed like it was something we didn't notice before we got on top of this view. Is this a stream that's formed by maybe the floods?
Looking at
Would
it.
it normally be here?
Yeah, it looks like it's definitely flooded somewhat. There's quite a few feeder streams coming into it, but it definitely looks like it's bigger than it's normal. Probably a small creek here.
And it's flowing away from the view or towards the view?
Away.
So everything's running off Butte and this and tributaries, stuff like that, filling in, it's flowing away.
Yeah, in generally in the westerly direction. And at this point, it's like 9 in the morning, so the sun's burned off a lot of the fog, and you can see now, if you're down by the bank, you can see the road up's even a little bit clearer. And you all know that Petersburg sits on the bank, somewhere on the roots of the road up mountains, a little bit to the north from where you are. So.
Tracking 16 prime.
Alright, when you get, how far do you range out from the bank, the canoes in the bank and the creek?
How far can I go and still be in sight of them? I don't know how dense the trees are.
About 50 odd feet, something like that.
Then that's about how far I go. I'm not getting outside.
Alright. And
Yeah, I got a 19. It's not prime, but I got a 19.
Alright, so you're both kind of moving down about 50 feet or so. You find quite a few knoll tracks, and when you get further out, you can see signs of a battle. Whatever was going on moved its way towards the bank. After a few minutes, you find another body, a human laying there. He's got horrific wounds up and down, clearly stone wounds, stone axe or whatever. He too has been, whatever gear he had is just, scattered all over through the brush here. But definitely there was a running battle towards the canoe.
That means
With
the
this
canoes are
large
open
pack
for
of
us.
knoll.
We're not stealing it.
We're
Alright.
borrowing.
So does it look like whoever had the canoes, a motley crew of not gnolls, went out, and then these poor souls were trying to run back for the canoes? I mean, can I make that?
Yeah, that pretty much looks like. Give me another spot check. Give me another track check. In fact, yeah, that's kind of that's the conclusion you've come to so far.
14 prime.
And looking at it after a few minutes, you find where clearly when they were running, they dropped the trunk because you find one of the rods that goes through the rings on the side of it. It's just kind of laying it. So they were definitely carrying this heavy weight, trying to get to the canoes. Some of them made it. Clearly, some of them did. Well, none of them made it. I guess they're dead. The trunk's sitting there.
Well, the dwarf made it.
He made it, yeah. I guess there's really elf. He went on fast. So yeah, that's a reasonable assumption.
I will relate that story to the crew.
Alright, so I'll assume that, is anyone on the view at this point?
No.
You two headed up.
We're at camp, the tent is down, we're gonna go back toward the.
Alright.
I think that's the rest of the pancakes.
We're gonna sail away without these people.
Somewhere around 9:30 in the morning, mid-morning, you guys have all gathered around the canoes. You've determined you've got 3 dead at least. The rangers imparted to you that there's no running these guys through the woods. What's the next step? Are we getting on the canoes or are we gonna try to?
Can you guys guide us back upstream?
So, the
outpost?
human, or whoever had this trunk was coming from somewhere with his stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
maybe we should go check
That's
where they were coming from.
There's more.
That's what I was thinking.
Wait, they all died coming from this.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they're wusses.
they weren't us.
Well, also, why
Exactly. Let's get on the boat.
Yeah, this boat looks good.
Well, the other question is, why did the gnoll freak out and come running into the water?
They just wanted
Because
to
we
kill.
saw.
Because they want to kill.
Do we know, does anybody know, do gnolls, do they range like independently like this, or do they come in groups? What, is seeing one out here, is that a rare thing?
To see one knoll would be rare. It would mean that the rest of the group that he was with is dead. They usually travel in small packs of anywhere between 5 and maybe 30 or so. Sometimes it's larger. So
That would be a fight.
And it's not like the gnolls are idiots. Like 2 gnolls wouldn't try to kill all of you guys. Clearly this gnoll saw he's separated from the party. He might be able to get his kill in and get out. You know what I mean? So it's not that they want to die, but they will fight viciously. But yeah, you can guess there's probably a good chunk of gnolls in.
Rangers, is it safe to assume that gnolls are watching us now?
It's entirely possible. On the other hand, I mean,
It's safer to assume that than to not assume it.
Yeah,
Right,
I
exactly.
agree.
Well, there's only 2 of them.
I mean,
Always assume the worst.
I'm not a ranger, but yeah. Why are we still here?
Somebody wanted to make pancakes.
They were
Hey,
good.
the pancakes were
They
good.
were
delicious. Alright, so we're getting the canoes or are we pursuing the knoll tracks?
I don't know if there's enough room for everybody, boys and girls.
Could you take your tubes of
Take
coins
rope,
back to the trading
Wrap it
post?
around,
there's enough
whatever
room.
point
There's
I
5
can.
canoes and they hold about 7 each. That's 35 people.
Alright,
We
so
got
go
less than that
across,
there.
and then
Yeah, but then there's the armor.
pull it back
destroyers
afterwards.
The armored guys
We're
can't.
not sharing loot.
We
Go
can't
across,
do
cross,
so.
go
down.
We have up
So
to
we
five
drag them along.
Side by
hours,
side,
so
someone get in it, and then I'll ferry it
we
back over.
roughly.
Oh, so someone canoe
30
themselves
spots.
across and you pull the
Yeah,
canoe back. So
35.
you're thinking, now where you guys are actually, so
Yeah,
if the
roughly
butte,
30
this is the
armor
butte here,
consonants.
okay? You've gone down off the edge there. This creek really, where it's 20 feet wide, starts on that side of the butte. You actually could walk up and just
Wait.
go onto the north bank, if
I got
that's what you were inclined to do. But now clearly you all are semi-experienced, and some of you, certainly the knight is experienced with the Darkened Folk. This is definitely not one of the major rivers that goes through the Darkened Folk. There's the Powder, and then there's the Washita, and the Westling, and then the Mistbane.
So this is a feeder that just
This
got
is
fed on the
definitely
rains.
some creek that feeds into one of the other major rivers.
So it could run dry at some point.
Possible.
So it's easy. We just get in the boats and the crazy guy pulls us because he can walk on water.
See, well, I'm already sitting in the boat. I'm literally sitting there in the boat like, who's gonna order this shit? Who's gonna...
You don't need to sit in the boat.
Brother, you know we stack up. Come on.
So how fast is the river running and how far across? Right here, it's about 20 feet across to the north bank of it, and it's not moving very fast. So you're gonna have, if you want to go down, now you'll move a little bit. You know,
okay,
so you won't end up like a mile and a half down the river. Yeah, you're not gonna go very fast.
Okay,
Just
bring it
yeah,
back.
absolutely. Yeah.
Nope.
And I assume, I have not heard that anyone has pulled a canoe
Sweat my
into the
nuts
water. I assume all the
No, I'm
canoes are
sitting in the
still on the bank. Yeah. No one's floating off yet downstream.
I yell white water and I tip my brother out of the canoe.
I assume, do you
Yes.
All right, he flips you out of the water.
I'm just laying on top of the water going, fucker.
You can invert it so you're walking upside down on the water.
No, I'm just laying on
Hell, it fills with water.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like it's not the most pleasant experience in the world.
Spring's not working
Get
right.
up on my hands and knees. Yeah, usual shit.
It only affects your feet, so everything else just goes under.
All right, so what are we gonna do? You guys gotta decide. We're gonna take a break here in about a minute. Are we getting into canoes, or are we going to?
We're gonna follow
Get
it.
off
Are we
into
following
the
the
dark
treasure? Or are we
fold.
trying to get back to somewhere?
Let's
try to
get
get
back
back.
somewhere, because there's no good with treasure if you can't get somewhere.
Would the trading post even take these types of coins? Is there even a point to taking those?
I mean,
yeah.
It's trading post. Why are we trading?
Make it sound like a target.
Here, but certainly in Petersburg, these coins would be worth.
And
I'm encouraging everyone to let's go vanquish this evil that's in this forest. Because they're clearly not supposed to be.
Yeah. That sounds rather noble. Not really, but you know.
It does, doesn't it? Does it not?
Going down.
I agree with you. Being in a canoe makes me feel like a target. Let's go after the bad guys. Let's not be a target here.
Yeah,
What do you
okay,
got,
so
22 bodies?
one thing I wanna know, if this isn't a major
And a
river,
lot of us in armor,
then
that's like.
is it logical
What
to
you would
have
have to
canoes out here in the
do is
first
strip
place?
the armor off.
I mean, maybe they didn't come from far away. I don't know.
Like,
I can carry some armor.
Okay.
Get that pole out.
Well, you can use it as ballast, I guess.
Get that pole out, put it on each side.
There you go.
I'm gonna use my trained charisma, which happens to be very low, but it was one of my fighting. My charisma is low, but it. So, what shall it be? A noble quest, or shall we try to return home? Show of hands. Noble quest.
Noble quest!
Noble quest!
West.
Not being a target in a canoe.
Somebody count. I can't be noble and count at the same time.
I just got 3 more votes.
I support Justice Dog. What he said.
Someone counting? I'm still not counting.
So I think we're down to lose Mr. Mountain Wizard.
1, 5, 9,
Run away? What kind of adventures run away?
One that lives.
Do we have a majority? Do we?
Yeah, majority.
Yeah, that's 23.
I'm not gonna
I
go
shall
by
never
myself.
ever leave these woods. I know it. Call a break.
So, I'm assuming we're going into the woods and not on a canoe. Is that correct?
Clearly.
All right.
Let's go.
All right, so let's take 5 minutes and the rest of us.
I use it as the goal.
I'm done with both
Thank
of
you,
these
Steve, for
both
calling me
guys
90s
know.
going on.
There you go.
Unless there's jello shots, I don't want anything to do with the boat.
Amen.